Welcome to your June energy forecast for 2022. All right, so I know some of you are feeling kind of punched in the gut by May. This is becoming quite a theme. The energy of 2022, as I said in the yearly forecast, is super intense. And we have to deal with a lot of this timeline increase. So if any of you are familiar with the various timelines we can be on a spiritual level, our timelines that we have jumped upon or chosen or flipped from are very fast right now. And that is because of all the high intensity energy that is being fed to us through the atmosphere, from the sun, from the radiation from the sun, but also just on a collective level, the energy has really bumped up this year because we are shifting into that still kind of age of Aquarius and still hanging on to the past. So there's a lot of this like push and pull, but the universe and the divine energy that is coming into this high frequency energy that is coming in at this time is actually pushing things. And as many of you may know, physical time that we follow here on Earth is just a construct that we follow, but the actual way the time passes is very different for the rest of, I'd say, the universe, also for the collective energy of spirit. So the idea of time as we know it and what time it is and where we have to be and go is not actually the same in the spirit world. In the spirit world, it passes very differently. So here it's very slow, and we've all agreed as a collective to follow the construct of physical time. So the timelines that are kind of imposing on us now are because of all this high intensity energy. And also remember, we're in the season of the lunar eclipse. We had a lunar eclipse on May 15th or 16th, depending on where you are in the world. And so that lunar eclipse is really affecting us. Okay. This is like, we're putting sort of like, this is where the rubber hits the road. Okay. The universe is saying, hey, get with the program. We are changing. Okay. So that's why timelines have really sped up. And that's what you might feel like is situations are highly dramatic, but can be healed quite rapidly. And also long held wounds that we've had can also be healed and released quite quickly, considering how long we've been holding on to them. And you might see situations really come to a head quite quickly. So just keep that in mind. We're in 2022, which is the year of dealing with responsibility and relationships and balance in our life. So it's really important to keep all that in mind, especially when you're dealing with relationships and family. So before I get too far here, I do want to say that today's energy forecast, I get a little excited about these and I just sort of run with it, but today's energy forecast I'd like to dedicate to a friend of mine. His name is Mark Joly, and Mark unfortunately passed away on Tuesday, and it was quite a shock for anybody in the TV world that knew him. He was my friend and my co-host on Sight-Seers, the documentary that aired last year on AMI, on the Canadian network AMI. The show is actually, in my mind now, sort of a legacy, to him. And if you'd like to see any of those episodes, you can find the link on my website, or I can put the link below and you can check those out if you like. And maybe it'd be nice, in his memory, just to have a peek. But I will say about Mark that often, if you know anything about this world, psychics often don't really have psychic friends, or they don't get along. And with Mark, sometimes we had different ideas about things. We also came from different worlds, and he was blind, so he had a really different life experience than I did. But I will say that we did connect on the level where I could see how talented he was, how much his ability, it was so strong, and his need to help other people. And so today I'm dedicating the energy forecast for June to Mark. As I said, if you're interested in the shows we did together, I will put the link in the description. So you may find this in your life, because I know I've certainly noticed it, that there are many souls that are exiting this existence, physical world, and it seems to be happening on a rapid level. And we have seen some tragedies. We just have recently had the shooting, mass shooting, school shooting in Texas, in Uvale, and my heart goes out to all those families as we start to see some beginnings of some mass exodus of souls from this world. This is not to scare us, and this is not to have fear. And fear is something I think we have to work on. We have to work very, very hard on fear. In the spiritual world, or in the spirit world, there is an understanding that energy consciousness never dies. It's never eliminated. And so we will always live on, whether there is a physical body to carry us or not. And we have lived many lives before this one, and we will carry on. This earth is can be volatile and very beautiful at the same time. And in past forecasts, I have talked about how two things can be true. And I really think that we are in a time of extreme contrast. And I had seen this years and years ago. I had seen this time that we would come into where there would be such a difference in that contrast that it would almost feel like there was no middle ground to be had. But I'll tell you what the middle ground is. The middle ground is love. And love is so powerful. Love gives you the grace to understand, to be judgment free, and to rise above the fear and the chaos. And that's what we're being called to do. You may notice that in June that you're visioning, your intuition may be ramped up even further. And you're wondering, how is that even possible? The dreams, we've been having vivid dreams at night and very prophetic dreams as well. And we've also been experiencing third eye activity. Now, the thing to know about processing through the third eye and through dreams is that sometimes it is your spirit, your soul, your energy's way of processing things that are so difficult that we cannot process them in our waking hours. Because we have been dreaming this year, deeply dreaming, many people are starting to feel like these dreams or visions are kind of seeping into their conscious awareness or waking hours, as I said. I need you to just know that some of what you see is your method of processing. So some of what you see is how we are purging sort of the body. And purging is a pretty, strong word, but it does describe some of the ways we were feeling in May, because we were being asked to release old stories, or being asked to release the self that we thought we were, and how we did things, how we always did things is the way that has to end. We have to begin to do things in a different way as we are entering a new age and a different world. Perceptions must change. So this can be a very difficult time, but we've been working so hard, whether you know it or not, we've been working very hard on releasing these old patterns, old stories, and healing the wounds in us, either from childhood or even generational, from another life or from your family life. So in all this working hard and purging, there has to come the light. And June is going to offer us some light. I really see for June that we have to pay attention. We absolutely do. And we still have to work very hard on fear and feeling through the heart. But I think if you're able to surrender to the experience that we are in, and that means that there are many things that maybe you don't agree with. There are many things that maybe you don't feel you want to engage, and there are many opinions, and I feel as if there's been such a divide created by the pandemic and by belief systems that we really need to work on coming together now and repairing those relationships. So knowing, kind of pulling from May, some of the things that we experienced in May were that we needed to rest, we needed time to rest, and we needed renewal. We need to let go of those old stories. We needed to know that it was time to do things differently, that it was time to make new patterns, maybe even question our old beliefs. And also, we knew from May that you can no longer ignore the spiritual call. The call to be of service in humanity is there. How you answer that call is up to you, but you can no longer refuse the call. Refusing the call will cause a lot of headaches, a lot of problems. So we have this vivid visioning, we are processing all these things, we are trying to release them. We are also coming to the understanding that if we do release and we surrender to what's happening, surrendering to what's happening around us in the sense that doesn't mean giving up. That means rising above the drama with grace and knowing that you do not have to give your power away. I'm going to say that again. Knowing within yourself that you do not have to give your power away to those things that you don't agree with and the things that you don't feel as your truth. We are also understanding that we are part of a divine matrix, and that divine matrix is there to guide us and support us. But we're being asked to still power through with that blind faith and trust. Blind faith and trust. Trust that you are supported, and trust that we're all going to come through this okay and together. Now, the other thing that came up for June, there is a lot of good stuff about June, but one thing that might be hard is that we are going to face some walls. And we're moving forward and we're starting to see, oh, this, I'm getting rewarded for this. I see the fruits of my labor. We're moving forward in such a powerful way and we're starting to feel it. We can see I've been manifesting things for 10 years and it's finally happening. And I'm going to say that I'm a perfect example of this. I have been manifesting. I just wanted to walk into a car dealership and pay for a car outright. I just wanted to walk in and get a new car, newer car, a new to me car, and just pay for it, you know? And I recently achieved that. And that's been on my manifestation list, my vision board for many years. I was waiting to be able to do this. And there's work involved. You can't just show up at a car dealership with no money and still drive away with the car. There's work involved in this, but that was on my manifestation list for many years and it's been achieved this year. So the other thing too is I had two particular trips, vacations, I guess you could say, on my list for many years as well. One of them for probably the last 12 years. And they are happening this year. So I just got back from Las Vegas, Nevada, and I had wanted to go there for a really long time. And I know a lot of people have said to me, well, you're a spiritual person. Like, why would you want to go to Vegas where there's drinking and smoking and gambling? And I can't really explain it. Maybe it's a past life connection. Maybe I just had to go there to heal my own old wounds. But I went and I had a great time. And I learned from Vegas, you know, everything's larger than life there. And I really learned that nothing is too big. No dream is too big to be had. And everything is accepted. Everything is, you know, okay. And I'm not saying that that's, you know, a perfect philosophy, but really for me, it just taught me that, you know, to dream big is okay. And you don't have to feel bad or feel like you're not feel guilty somehow that you're asking too much of the universe, because if the desire is in place, the desire is the message from your soul that that is on your path and completely possible. So dream big and dream like dream like you're in Las Vegas and you just won the jackpot, because I feel like that's what's going to help us through some of the more difficult energies that are coming for us in the next couple of years. So lots of good stuff that's going to keep us going and keep us feeling good. But there are some difficult things. And one of the things that, like I said, came up was the fact that we might run into walls. So meaning that you're trucking along, you're doing your thing, and then you realize, oh my gosh, this whole experience is going to end right here because I have this challenge or this adversity. And here's what I want you to do. When you're moving along, whether it's in work, in a creative project, with a relationship, anything, you're moving along and you hit adversity, you hit challenge. I want you to think about a couple things. Timing is so important, and there's a divine timing that sometimes we don't understand, and we actually are protected from doing things that could have a greater harm. So sometimes we're just not ready for what's coming, and Spirit's trying to pull us back a little bit, saying, hey, I just want you to think about this a little bit, because it's going to be an important time for contemplation and making sure the timing is correct. But what I'm going to tell you is, whatever is for you, you can't mess it up. You literally cannot mess it up. So whatever is coming for you in your life, it is coming no matter what. And it doesn't matter if it comes today or you have to wait 6 months. But walls often will help us redirect and help us find a better way. So I just want you to think about that. If you face a challenge that looks like it's just insurmountable, you can't get past it, I want you to remember that sometimes those walls are protection, and there may be a better way that's just not exactly obvious to you in the moment. So be open to redirect, change your course of action and do things differently. Know that you can't mess up anything that's meant for you anyway, and there's a divine timing involved. Okay, so I did talk about your inner child last month. This month, what I want you to work on is loving and integrating all those parts of yourself that you have discarded or judged or thought weren't good enough, because any part of you needs to be integrated so that you can have true freedom, true liberation from your attachments right now. And then you can begin to see the magic of your life when you don't have all those attachments. Okay, so example, relationships. So you're in a relationship. The relationship has weighed on you. Maybe there's hurt involved, betrayal. But if you can get yourself to the place where you liberate yourself from the situation, whether that is through apology, whether that is through some contemplation, or whether that is through some distance, whether that is through some better communication, whatever vehicle gets you to the place where you've let go of the weight and the burden and you liberate yourself from that hardship. It may take some rising above some drama, and some, not just forgiveness, but that meeting in the middle. It's very important. Sometimes we do have to compromise with people, and sometimes we have to realize that people are on our path to teach us things, and be grateful for the lesson. You don't have to necessarily forgive that person, but you do have to know that nothing happens by accident. That's that divine matrix we're going to go back to. So the divine matrix is that plan that you will never escape. That plan for your life is there, and things are happening along a timeline. So know that people in your life are there to teach you. Those challenges are there to teach you, and that you are going to be a better person for it and liberate yourself from that. But from the inner child point of view, your inner child, the pieces of yourself that you have abandoned, need to come back to you in order to experience that true freedom, and then to see the true magic of your life and the things around you and the people around you. The next piece in June that I wanted to talk about is the surge of divine energy I am feeling. And divine energy is not exactly, it's not exactly feminine in the sense of our physicality. So if you look at who you are as the feminine side of you, if you're experiencing the feminine side of you and our stereotypical ideas of what it is to be female or experience femininity, it's not necessarily the same as the divine feminine energy. So making that distinction, because what I want to say to you is that right now there is a wisdom in your heart from the divine feminine that is speaking to you in a calm, cool, collected voice. Simple messages. And you're being asked to stop overthinking from the mind and take action from the heart. So stop overthinking, action from the heart. Heart action is very different. The head says, I don't want to forgive this person right now. They don't deserve my forgiveness. They've hurt me very deeply. The heart says, let it go. However you decide to let that go, let it go. The heart will offer grace. The heart will extend itself to another person to help and hear them without the head interfering. How hard is that? So hard, right? But we're really being asked to repair relationships and know that no other person is responsible for you and no other person is here to save you. No other person's here to save you. You must save you. And when you get to the place where you are in love with yourself, that's when the true magic happens as far as relationships. So when I talk to people that have been on their own for a long time and they're just looking for companionship and they're just so tired of being alone, and I always say to them, tell me about yourself. Tell me the things that you're in love with yourself. Tell me the qualities about yourself that you know you'd love to see in another person. Tell me about how you love to be on your own. What are the things you like to do when you're by yourself? Do you value your alone time? These are all questions that I ask to try to help them see that until you are comfortable within self and you feel worthy and there's no depression about, oh, another day by myself. That's not how you love yourself. It's not. And I understand that, going a long time without being in a romantic relationship can be very difficult on you. And I'm not trying to, judge that or anything. What I'm trying to say to you is spend the time looking after yourself. And most of the time, when you get to the place that you are happy being on your own, that you can enjoy your own company, doesn't mean that you're not wanting a companion, but that you know that you're here to save yourself and you're not looking to somebody else to fix your problems. When you get to that place, that is exactly when the person comes along that is of your highest vibration and your best vibrational match, because you are at your highest vibration. So do the things that keep you at your highest vibration and you will attract your best mate. You can also ask the universe to send you your highest vibrational match and just tell the universe you have no expectations and you have no requirements, because other than they're the highest vibrational match for you, but because you could be blocking the best relationship of your life by saying, well, I don't want to be with somebody who paints houses, or I don't want to be with somebody who speaks a different language, or I don't want to be with somebody who has a disability. So if you are blocking the universe by having that list of requirements, you're blocking the universe from sending your highest vibrational match. So think about that. So we have some guided change happening in June. But guided change means that you really have to be in a place to listen. So work on those spiritual practices so you can quiet the mind, so you can feel your way through the experiences and choices that you have in front of you. Because I feel like if you can't bring yourself to the calm place where there's no fear, anger, resentment, jealousy involved, then you can't really hear that divine guidance that's available to everyone. Divine guidance is simple and easy, and it's not, there's no fireworks. No fireworks in divine guidance. And I hear this from people all the time. They say, I talked to my guides, I felt this, but it wasn't really that impactful, so I didn't think anything happened. And I will say to you that your guides are not about the fanfare, they're not about entertainment, and they are not about the fireworks. So when you get a message and it's clear and simple and direct, that is your guides, and they will not scream at you either, because that's not their way. But they will be persistent and they will tell you the same thing, but it's that quiet, persistent voice of truth and easiness and peace that you need to listen to. Now, the fun thing about June is that we've been so curious. We've been so creative. All these creative ideas have been popping into our head. And I feel like June is the month where we're going to be able to put some of those things into motion. So new beginnings, new ideas, lots of creativity still there, and acceptance of the fact that, hey, I feel like shining my light right now. I've been hiding part of myself because I've been contemplating it, or I've been working on it and cultivating it, making sure that I feel comfortable. But this is the month that it's time. It's time to go, ah, there's my light. You know, this is the side of me I've been working on and I've been waiting and anticipating to show the world. And that's where we are in June. So yay us. All those little projects and all those little sides to yourself that you've been kind of keeping to yourself, well, it's time to share. Important too to let go of dogma and old stories, old ideas, old beliefs. Really important. And we've been putting those away all year, putting them away, putting them away. But really important that you let go of dogma. So dogma meaning like those old belief systems that just everybody's believed for the past, whatever, hundreds of years. And if somebody has a belief and you don't really agree with it, and there's a space to do it because it has to be, you know, done with responsibility. But if there's a space to talk to somebody and say, hey, can you explain that belief to me? Or where did that come from? Why do you believe that? And sometimes it leads them to a place where they can start to open up the door. They can start to think, gee, why do I believe that? And it's not a thing that you're asking them because you want an immediate answer. It's like a spark. It's like planting a seed and saying, hey, maybe it's time to rethink some of this stuff. You only answer to yourself. Good news, right? You only answer to yourself. You don't have to please anybody, meet anybody else's expectations. You don't have to do anything anybody else's way. That is the cool thing about what's happening right now and the changes that we've had and the evolution that we're seeing. It's an exciting time. Get excited. Get excited. Let's do the personal work. It's always needed because this year's all about balance. So we're always going to have the good and we're always going to have the challenging. That's this year. So we can just accept it and keep going. So rising above all the drama, and then implying and asking for that grace. So let's spread grace. Let's employ grace. Let's live grace. Let's embody grace. And grace is the ability to exist fully in your heart, accepting who you are with no judgment of others. Just let it be. Let it ride. I want to leave this month just saying that love is so powerful. And I would like you all to look at your life. How can you love other people? Love is so powerful. It is the most powerful tool we have. Let's all go out there and be love warriors. Let's love beyond love. Let's love beyond circumstances. Let's show compassion for where people are and forget about that divide that's been created because of the pandemic and belief systems and rules and regulations that have come from that. Let's just forget about it. Forget about it. We're all people. We all need each other. We all need support. We need community. It's time to figure out ways that we can love others with grace. Thanks, guys. I hope this helped you, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like the video, support, share the video, share the crap out of the video. uh, the more support that this channel receives, the more I can continue to do it. So thank you, and I love you.